Thanks for staying with us. Care for serious illnesses such as cancer can be complicated, and when patients are having to deal with the battle of a lifetime, it's comforting to know there's an advocate fighting right there beside them. We are now joined by Jamie Wilcox, a lung nurse navigator. Thanks so much for being here today, Jamie.
Thank you for having me.
So let's just start out by talking about what is an oncology nurse navigator.
An oncology nurse navigator is a clinically trained professional that's there to identify and remove barriers so that patients can receive timely and appropriate cancer treatment. We're also there to guide them through the entire process from diagnosis on through survivorship.
So you said professionally trained. Can you talk a little bit about what an oncology nurse navigator does as far as education and training for that position?
Right, so we usually have quite an extensive background in oncology, and most oncology nurse navigators will be oncology certified. In addition to that, the Oncology Nursing Society has a set criteria or core competencies, if you will, of whether that's with the professional role, providing education with the patient, care coordination, and communication with family, other providers to make sure that we get them through the process timely.
So can you give some examples of what you or a nurse navigator would do for somebody who has been diagnosed with lung cancer?
It really depends on the individual and what their needs are. A lot of times when I meet them at the biopsy, it might just be education about what to expect with the biopsy and reinforcing what the doctor's probably already told them. And then just answering their questions and letting them know I'll be watching for the results, and we'll get them in as soon as we have them because they're usually most anxious about what those results will be.
Sure.
If I don't meet them till the actual consult with the oncologist, we can provide them when, being that it's a very stressful situation and they hear cancer and that's the last thing they hear, I can be there to take notes for what the doctor's telling them so that they can refer back to those later and be able to process everything that they were told at that visit and answer questions for their families, and then guide them through their next steps, making sure they get appointments at a reasonable time frame, get them scheduled so that we can get them started on their treatment.
Can you talk a little bit about how someone can find someone like you? If someone's been diagnosed with cancer, how do you find a nurse navigator?
That's a great question. Not every hospital has nurse navigators yet. It's still a relatively new role to nursing. But most places are coming on board with that. And so really just talking, if you haven't already met a nurse navigator, just talking to your provider and asking if that's a service that's offered. That would probably be the easiest way.
What are some of the common barriers that patients and maybe their families too might run into that you help remove for them?
A lot of it's just education. They're new to the healthcare system and how it works, and making sure that they understand what's happening, what their next steps might be in the process once they get the diagnosis of cancer. It might be financial or lack of health insurance, or their health insurance doesn't cover certain things, or just finding out what their deductibles are or do they need help with that. So getting them referred and set up with the appropriate system in the hospital to help them with that financial burden. It might be a language barrier, making sure that there's an interpreter there so that everyone, so that we understand what the patient needs, the patient's understanding what we tell them. It could just be transportation. Being in Montana, sometimes the weather's not great. And so they might not have a very reliable car. And do they have other sources, friends or family members that can give them rides? Or do we need to look into getting transportation set up for them? It just really depends on the patient. But anything that we can do to get them to their treatments and give them a good quality of life during their treatments is what we try to do.
And that is a lot, and it's really great. But let's talk a little bit too about the emotional and mental well-being of a patient who's been diagnosed with cancer. Do you help them figure out how to even cope with that diagnosis?
We do. A lot of times we're just a sounding board for the patient, but then at times we need to recognize when they might need more assistance than just a nurse navigator, and so making those appropriate referrals to social work, who we work very closely with in our hospital. Participating in distress screenings with the patients to find out what it is that concerns them the most and how we can go best about helping them so that that's not a stressor and that they don't have to worry about that, and they can just worry on getting healthy.
That is great. And you already mentioned financial, which can also be a stressor. Can you talk a little bit about what you do to help folks navigate the financial part of care?
Unfortunately, I can't do too much other than get them out to the appropriate referral so that they can find out, do they have a deductible? How much is that deductible going to be? Making sure that they have a financial advocate, making sure that the prior authorizations are being done appropriately so that they don't get a surprise bill in the mail and then start to worry about how they're going to pay for that. But mostly it's just getting them hooked up with the appropriate person that can help them through that process.
Okay, and do you help the family too? Do you support them, and how?
Absolutely, and of course it's with the patient's permission that we can talk to the family, and a lot of times they're already at the visits with the patient when they come in to see the doctor, and we encourage that because it's always great to have an extra set of eyes and ears as to what's happening at those visits. But we do provide information booklets on how they can read that discusses how they can best help their family member going through this process. And also we can refer them out for counseling or social workers to help them through that process. A lot of time, if it's small children or if it's the parents of the children adult children going through treatment, there's always a different dynamic. So we do offer that as well because they're all part of the whole package.
So we probably have time to just one more quick question. For folks who don't have a navigator, are there resources they can reach out to? Any advice there?
Yes, I would be wary of the web.
Okay.
When you go onto the web, please pick appropriate and well-known websites like the American Cancer Society or the National Comprehensive Cancer Network or even the Lung Foundation. They all have very good information. It's evidence-based and it's consistent. But there are, depending on what city you're in, there'll be support groups. A lot of times some of these websites like the Lung Cancer Foundation will have online support groups. So if you're in a very small rural area, you still have access to that sort of support.
Perfect. Jamie, thank you so much. A lot of great information. We appreciate your time and expertise.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for watching at home. We hope you'll tune again next week. Until then, stay fit, stay well, and stay healthy for life with Healthy Living for Life. Have a great week.
Healthy Living for Life is brought to you by Mountain Pacific Quality Health. We'd love to hear from you. If you have suggestions for future programs, visit our website at mpqhf.org or call us at 406-443-4020. You can also catch us on YouTube by visiting our website and clicking on the YouTube icon. Special thanks to Fire Tower Coffee House and Roasters. Production facilities provided by Video Express Productions.